On Friday, September 12, 2025, the skies over parts of China turned menacing. As summer transitioned into autumn, the previously calm atmosphere suddenly became violent. Dark clouds rolled across the horizon, lightning flashed relentlessly, and large hailstones began falling from the sky, striking the ground, buildings, vehicles, and farmland. In less than an hour, thousands of people were affected, infrastructure was damaged, and transportation systems were paralyzed. This event was one of the most intense extreme weather episodes recorded by the China Meteorological Administration in the past decade. This hailstorm did not come without warning. Since early September, the China Meteorological Administration had been monitoring increased convective activity in the northern and eastern parts of the country. A strengthening La Niña condition in the eastern Pacific was causing cooling ocean temperatures, triggering atmospheric instability. At the same time, a cyclonic circulation was forming in the South China Sea and waters east of the Philippines, expanding the wind convergence zone and increasing the potential for cumulonimbus cloud growth. Atmospheric Rossby and Kelvin waves, which are typically slow-moving and stable, were exhibiting unusual patterns. Strong Madden Julian Oscillation, MJO, activity accelerated the formation of thunderclouds, while negative Dipole Mode Index, DMI, values intensified atmospheric instability in western and central China. All these elements combined to create ideal conditions for large-scale hail formation. In Beijing, hailstorms lasted for nearly 20 minutes in the Miyun and Huairou districts. Residents reported loud booms from the sky before ping-pong ball-sized hailstones began hitting rooftops, vehicles, and trees. Many traditional houses lacking hail-resistant roofing suffered severe damage. In Fujian, particularly in Fuzhou, hailstorms accompanied by strong winds caused tree falls and power outages in several areas. Guangzhou, which is typically warmer and more humid, was also affected. Sporadic hailstorms caused traffic disruptions and damage to public facilities. In some villages, farmland was severely damaged by hailstones and waterlogging, causing significant economic losses. According to preliminary reports from the China Meteorological Administration and the Ministry of Emergency Management, more than 8,000 homes suffered minor to severe damage. Thousands of residents were forced to evacuate to temporary shelters, while emergency response teams were deployed to distribute logistical aid. In the agricultural sector, losses were estimated at hundreds of millions of yuan, with corn, rice, and vegetable crops damaged by hailstorms and local flooding. Transportation was also significantly disrupted. International airports in Beijing and Guangzhou experienced delays of more than 200 flights, while the Beijing-Shanghai high-speed rail line experienced technical problems due to damage to the electrical system. Major highways were blocked by ice and debris, causing long traffic jams and traffic accidents. The Chinese government immediately issued a disaster warning and activated the National Emergency Response System. Search and rescue teams, the military, and volunteers were deployed to the affected areas to assist with evacuations, aid distribution, and infrastructure restoration. Huang Zhou, Deputy Director of the China Meteorological Administration, stated that this hailstorm was a serious warning about the increasing frequency of extreme weather events due to climate change. He added that China must strengthen its early warning system, build climate-resilient infrastructure, and improve public education on adapting to hydrometeorological disasters. The government also called for international cooperation to address the increasingly complex global climate challenges. This hailstorm has reopened questions about the community's systemic resilience to natural disasters. Many homes in rural areas are built without adequate standards for extreme weather. Poor drainage systems exacerbate flooding, while a lack of education about risk mitigation leaves residents unprepared for the immediate impacts. Furthermore, reliance on traditional agriculture makes communities highly vulnerable to climate disruptions. Without economic diversification and agricultural insurance coverage, thousands of farmers now face the threat of losing their livelihoods. Local governments are beginning to consider new policies to strengthen food security and rural infrastructure. This event did not occur in a vacuum. On the same day, a tropical storm struck the Philippines, severe flooding occurred in Vietnam, and extreme temperatures were recorded in northern India. Data from the Copernicus Climate Change Service indicates that August 2025 was the third hottest month on record globally, reinforcing concerns that the global climate system is entering a new phase of instability. Scientists warn that without significant policy changes, events like this extreme hailstorm will become more frequent and destructive. They call for significant investment in early warning systems, climate-resilient infrastructure, and public education on climate change adaptation. The hailstorm that occurred in China was not simply a meteorological anomaly, but a stark reminder of the new reality facing the world. In a short time, the sky, usually a symbol of protection, turned into a source of threat. Hail pellets falling from cumulonimbus clouds not only damaged buildings and fields, but also shook the sense of security of people who had long felt protected by predictable seasons. Meteorologically, this hailstorm was triggered by a complex interaction between a strengthening La Niña, regional cyclonic circulation, and global atmospheric dynamics such as Rossby waves, Kelvin waves, and the MJO. The resulting atmospheric instability generated highly active convective storms, increasing the potential for large-scale hailstorms. The China Meteorological Administration has confirmed that the intensity and distribution of this hailstorm exceeded historical standards, making it one of the most extreme events in recent decades. The social and economic impacts of this event were significant. Thousands of homes were damaged, crops were destroyed, and transportation systems were disrupted. Residents in Beijing, Fujian, and Guangzhou experienced firsthand how extreme weather can change lives in a matter of minutes. The Chinese government moved quickly by activating its emergency response system, deploying logistical assistance, and strengthening cross-sector coordination. However, this event also exposed systemic weaknesses: infrastructure that is not yet climate resilient, a lack of risk mitigation education, and economic dependence on sectors vulnerable to weather disruptions. Globally, this hailstorm coincided with numerous hydrometeorological disasters in Southeast Asia and other parts of the world. Climate data shows that global temperatures continue to rise, increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme events. Scientists and policymakers are now faced with the reality that climate adaptation is no longer an option, but a necessity. Investing in early warning systems, building climate-resilient infrastructure, and public education must be top priorities. More than just physical damage, this hailstorm left an emotional and reflective imprint. It reminded us that humans live within dynamic natural systems that cannot always be controlled. It challenged us to build resilience not only technically, but also socially and psychologically. It forced us to ask, are we truly prepared for an increasingly extreme future? In the ruins of homes and fields, in the pools of water and melting ice, lie important lessons about vulnerability, solidarity, and hope. This hailstorm is not just an event, but a narrative about changing times, and about the people who must change with them.